Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through each of the ABRSM Theory grades. There are loads of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets and you can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also find information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of the time on exam day when you're working through your exam paper. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be super duper. And please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in the pipeline. And now we're going to complete the first paper, paper A of grade 5 2015 past papers. So if you turn with me to page 6, and we'll begin with question 5. Now this is a prime example of how it's a good practice to always write out your major and minor related keys and key signatures. So if you just write out and work through the circle of fifths, you only need to do your thinking once at the beginning of the exam, and then you can just relax and refer to it as often as you need to. If you're not sure how to write out that circle of fifths, I've filmed a video tutorial and you can find the link to that in the description below and also in the cards. So then, I do suggest you have a go of this first. If you're working in pencil, you can just rub it out and have another go. In fact, for the melodic minor, it's imperative that you do work in pencil because you will have to do a bit of rubbing out as you follow through the steps to make that scale pattern. So we're asked to put sharps and flats or whatever's necessary in front of each of these notes to make it into the scale of B flat melodic minor. Do not use a key signature. However, we need to bear in mind what key signature that would be. Now, B flat minor is related to D flat major. We can see that here. I've already worked that out with my circle of fifths. And so we have a key signature of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flats. We need B, E, A, D, G flat. So let's do that first of all. So B flat will come twice because we're beginning and ending on that. It feels like we're writing too many, but we need to make sure both of those are B flat for our keynote, our tonic. E flats, A flats, D flats, and G flats. That's our first port of call. We're not finished yet though. If you find it difficult reading this clef, it depends which instrument you're used to playing. You can always just sketch out the letters underneath just to make that easy for you if you're not familiar with that clef. Now the melodic minor, ascending, the second part of that is to raise the 6th and the 7th. So we're counting upwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th, this is the 7th. And so to raise them, we're going from a flat to a natural. And so we need to get rid of those flats that we've just popped in for our key signature. Replacement as accidentals. And now we get rid of those. So you can either just leave those as they are, or you can put a natural sign in. You can even pop it in brackets showing that you know that that's not needed, but you're just showing that you've done all of your working out. So you can either just leave them empty or you can show that you've worked out those raised 6th and 7th. Righty ho, so the next one. So now we're asked to write the key signature of 4 sharps, and then we need to write 1 octave descending of the major scale with that key. So 4 sharps is F, C, G, D, and that would be E major. So let's just pop those in, making sure we position those correctly for the bass clef, F, C, G, D sharps. Now I'm going to start on a relatively high E. Either way, you're going to have to use some ledger lines, but I think there's less ledger lines this way. So E, down a step, line, space, line, space, line, space, line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're beginning and ending on E. That's all the steps of the scale, and that's E major, so that's a job done. So now if we turn over the page to page 7, now here we have a question that we no longer need to address. From 2018 onwards, the newly revised exam papers don't require that we complete the melody, nor do we need to do the alternative of adding a melody to words. So there's no need for us to continue with that question. If it is that you're planning on moving on to grade 6, 7 and 8 after this, I do suggest that you have a go at a few of these in your music theory and practice workbook. However, for exam purposes and for revision purposes, we no longer need to do that. And so we'll just turn over the page and we'll get right on with the last question 7, where we need to choose appropriate chords. We need to name these chords as best would suit a cadence point. So remember, they have to be chords that are part of a recognised cadence, so you need to be aware and make sure that you know what cadences are. So let's just have a look at this. They also need to watch out to make sure you don't include passing notes. Make sure you're only bearing in mind the harmony notes. So first of all, we need to figure out what key we're in. So we've got one flat here, we're in F major. So let's just sketch out, let's find a bit of a spot here. I'll do it here, we've got space here. We need to show chords 1, 2, 4 and 5. Of course, you'll have some scrap paper on your exam. So chord 1 is based on an F, 2 is G, A, B. Of course, it's B flat, but your key signature deals with that. And C is chord 5. So first, third, fifth, F, A, C. If you find that tricky, remember you can just first, second, third, fifth, and just work it out by sketching a piano keyboard just to visualise that. Even if you don't play piano, I do recommend that that's a good visual aid. So G, B, D, B, D, F, and we know that's first, third, fifth. We know that we've gone right here, nothing's gone astray, because there's the fifth starting the basis of chord 5, C, E, G. So now we've done the thinking, we just need to allocate the appropriate chords. So in chord A, we have notes D, B and F. So that's obviously a chord 4. So it looks to me like we're heading to a plagal cadence, which is chord 4 to 1. We'll see if that's correct. And here we have C, A, F. So there's chord 1. That's correct. That's a plagal cadence. It's sort of a gentle close, sort of like an amen sounding cadence. So that would be acceptable. We can't put which position it is. We're not looking at whether it's root position or an inversion because we've got no bass notes. So we haven't got the information to give those last little details. Let's move on to the second cadence point. So that was our halfway cadence point, and now we're coming to the end proper. So here we've got a G, A, B, D. Now that A is a passing note, just filling in between the gaps. So we don't need to account for that. That's just an in-between fill-in note. So we've got a G, a B and a D. So that's chord 2. Chord 2, oh dearie me. Chord 2 is a good preparation chord leading into a cadence. And then here we have a C, an F and a C again. So really that's going to have to be chord 1. And then in the last one we've got a C, D, E. Now that D is a passing note, just passing in between the two main harmony notes, and C and E tells us that we're going to be using chord 5. So we have an imperfect cadence here that kind of leaves you hanging and doesn't sound finished at all. So that's the end of that question, and that's the end of that paper. I do hope that you've found that of benefit to your studies. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. If you can give me a like, that would be super. Please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in the pipeline. Please do go to sharonbill.com and have a browse around there and make use of all of the resource and information that's there to help you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.